Today, compared to a year ago, I'm a completely different person. Before I found Christ, I was actually raised up a lot in church, but I never really took it seriously. But then I just got tired of the lifestyle I was living and realizing that the natural materialistic things weren't satisfying me as much. The crowds I was hanging with and the things I were doing were just not, it just wasn't as important to me anymore. And whenever I truly decided to take the next step, I went and talked to Taylor and I just told him my testimony, and he told me he thought my next step was to join a Grow group. The first time I showed up to Grow group, it was kind of odd because I didn't really know many of the people there. I knew Russ, but that was mainly from ACT tutoring. And I didn't know many people there, but Taylor, he told me that the thing that brings us together and brings us close is not the similarities or the things we have in common, it's the gospel. And when I truly understood that and just kept going to Grow group, I started to understand that that was more truer than I even thought. And now me and the guys in the Grow group have just grown so close. They invite me to almost every event, and next week or sometime soon, me and Dylan are actually going to write a devotional together. And I never in my life thought I'd be at that point. But the day that I realized that my faith was actually rubbing off on others was after school. I was giving my friend a ride home, and we were just talking, and he ended up saying something that I didn't particularly agree with, and it was just something I didn't want to involve myself with. So I was like, hey, I don't really want to talk about that right now. And he was like, man, where's the old Mike at? Why are you so different now? Why don't you talk about the things you used to talk about and be the old you? And he was like, it's like you're a whole different person. And I came to realize that the old is gone and the new has come. And God says whenever I accept Him, I became a new creation. And it's something I've grown to believe. And whenever I see that my devotion and things that I give to Christ rubs off on others, it just gives me even more encouragement to keep striving. Whenever I started taking the next step and started putting more investment with my time into Christ, I started encouraging my parents to do the same, because I feel like if we all do it together, then it can become something way more than we even dreamed of. And the more that I did that, the more they started to actually believe it, because the more that I read my Bible, the more that my dad would say that it encourages him to read his, and it encourages my mom. And now my mom is actually getting everybody a Bible for Christmas, and my dad, he's made his own disciple to my uncle. I walked in my house to try to spread the gospel to him because he's been going through some rough stuff, and come to find out my dad was already speaking it to him, and it was just amazing to see how far the discipleship, he's grown as a disciple in such a short amount of time. And that has encouraged me to want to do the same thing to even more people, and just doing wonderful things. There's no doubt in my mind that if I didn't have the leaders that I've had to help me and guide me through this journey, that I wouldn't be here right now. One of the things that I want to thank all the group leaders for, and want them to know that has really encouraged me, is that they check up on me throughout the day and throughout the week and make sure I'm progressing in my faith, because I'll be sitting at school or at home and I'll just get a message of the guys asking how I'm doing, or encouraging me, telling me if they're praying for me, or just different things. And whenever I read that, it just lets me know that I'm actually making an impact, and I actually belong, and I actually mean something to them. Today, compared to a year ago, I'm a completely different person. My desires and my heart and things I look forward to in my future are not at all the same. I used to think that how much money I'm going to get in the future and what kind of house I'm going to live in, and all these things are going to determine what kind of person I am. Because that's what society tells you. It tells you you have to be better than this person, you have to be better than that person. But the thing that I've learned is that God tells us we're all equal. He loves nobody more or less than the next person. And that has really encouraged me and gave me motivation that I can do anything as long as I have Christ. And can nobody tell me my worth. And as long as I have that word with me, I don't think there's anything that could stop me from pursuing God. I'm Michael Reed, and this is my story.